Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Corner. Today is your episode 103. Let's talk about different timelines. I've been thinking about that a lot since I got spend some time with a mom group, and then I realized how difficult it was for me, and I realized why originally I didn't want to join a mom group or I didn't want to become friends with the new moms. Not because they're bad, it's just because I can't deal with my own problem. Let's say I like to compare, not like I like to compare, and automatically I compare myself with other people, and I'm always very worried about myself falling behind. Sometimes I feel like if it's just about myself, that is fine. If I fall behind, I can take care of that, or I can even just handle that, or I can just it. I don't care. But then now I have my little one. I'm always worried if I do something wrong or if I miss doing something, that he's gonna fall behind. He doesn't know anything. I'm very responsible for his growth, for his development, for everything. I don't want to mess up his life. I think it's more like I've got this influence from my own family. I always feel like if they could have done that this way and I could have become better or sort of things. Not trying to blame my family. They've done amazing job to raise me like this. And now I'm here. I have my own family. I'm healthy. I'm happy. And I really appreciate everything they've done for me. And that's why I also think because we've never taken class about how to become good parents, and I'm just worried. And for me, I'm more like a textbook person. Everything I do, I want to kind of follow the textbook. Whatever you say, I'll do that as long as I can get the results I want or I prefer. But raising kids is not like that. You don't have textbook. You don't have lessons for that. You just have to figure out by yourself. And then sometimes you go to Google, you go to YouTube, you go to all sorts of like parenting videos or advice or tips. You learn a lot and you figure out a lot of things you're doing are kind of wrong, because you're not following the mainstream. Anyway, and it makes me very nervous, makes me very worried that I'm gonna do something wrong and I will hurt him, not physically. So back to joining to the mom group. I really loved spending time with them because my little one doesn't really have peers, doesn't really have friends at his age. And plus he's a little bit bigger for his age. So we joined together, and then they're all a little bit younger, like a couple of weeks younger than him, and they've already started to stand up, but they've already started to crawl on their knees. And I look at him, he's still doing an army crawl. And I was like, oh. And then they talked about drinking water, using sippy cups or things like that. He doesn't drink water. And those kind of things make me very, very nervous. And I start to think about myself. I kind of have become a parent that I hated before. I want to compare my son with other people. Why am I doing that? It's kind of like a force of habit. When I see it, I want him to be the best. Not I'm trying to show off. Look at my son, he's the best. I just want him to have a good life that he doesn't have to worry about or he doesn't have to fight too hard in the future. But to be able to give him that kind of life, I have to work really hard. I have to make sure I don't miss any steps there. But then I feel like when it comes to development of certain skills or physical skills or those kind of things, it's like us, thinking about us when we are planning our life, well, we are planning our life. Mostly our parents or our neighbors, our friends, or the whole society is planning out for our life. And you're thinking at this age, you're supposed to do this, right? So thinking about us. 18, you're going to go to university. You have to go to university, not college. You have to go to university. But then you think about why. Okay, so to be able to get a good job. Okay, so after you graduate from your university, you're going to get a job. But you have to get a good job. What is good job by definition? Make good money, have reputation, you can show off, those kind of things. Sure. Now you got a really good job. Okay. After that, people say, at 25, you're becoming old. You have to get married. You have to have a family. Sure. I need to marry to someone right now. And then they ask you about the qualities. They ask you about the standards, all the rules that you have to have when it comes to choosing a partner. And then you have all the rules. You have the whole list of what kind of people, what kind of person you want. Sure. Then you get the person. And then what? Oh, okay. Now you have a family next step. You must have a kid. If you don't, you say at the age of 18, you want to take a gap year. You want to do something else. You want to figure out your life before you start before you start to make a major decision about what you want to do in the future. No, you can't because everybody else is going to university at age of 18. And after you graduate, you need to get a good job. We talk about good job, right? So what kind of job is a good job? And you say, oh, okay, my parents want me to work at a bank. Sure, my parents wanted me to become a teacher. As a girl, teacher is a very good occupation, right? And it will get you to marry to a good guy. I guess that's what most parents think about a teacher, right? But you say, no, I don't want to become a teacher because I don't have a patience. I'm not that kind of material. You don't want to do anything about that. That's fine. But then people around you will tell you, why not? You're supposed to you're supposed to have a stable job. Then you have a stable income. And then people will look up to you. Why do people need to look up to me? I don't know. If you say no, they'll ask you what other people do. All the people who are all the people? I don't know. But all the people after university, they go find a job like that. All the girls, they will go find a job as a teacher. All sorts of things. But then you feel like, okay, if I didn't go to university at age of 18, I'm a loser. I failed my life. Okay. If I don't find a job as a teacher as a girl, then I'm a loser because I can't find a job. Because other people find a job. Because other people are doing that, but I'm not. If at the age of 25, at the age of 30, at the age of 35, even 40, you're not married. You're a loser. Why? Because other people got married at that age and you're not, right? And then you will think, why do I have to follow other people's timeline? They're not me. We have a different background educationally, sure. And my parents are different. I don't have their parents. They don't have my parents. The whole growing environment is totally different economically, right? The income, the whole financial situation is different. The city I lived in, right? And the university I went to, and then everything is so different. Everyone is so different, let alone thoughts, ideas, mindset, and your personality. It's just whole another level. There's no exactly timeline for everybody. There's no one fits all thing. You can't think about that. If you think about the one fits all rule, and you're going to screw yourself because you're going to get so anxious about everything. You're going to be worried about falling behind. There are a lot of things to worry about. And that should not be the thing you should worry about. At least. At least. So that's why I was thinking about, well, I feel like having a kid has really taught me a lot. So I was thinking about him. I was thinking about other kids. I felt so bad when I saw other kids. I feel so bad when I saw other kids being able to do a lot of things while he wasn't. And a week after, he started to crawl on his knees. He started to stand up by holding the sofa. He started to do a lot of things. He started to drink water from an open cup, from a bowl. He doesn't need a sippy cup because the whole sippy cup situation is to teach your kid to use open cup in the future. He just does it. Why am I so nervous about what other kids do? I should be just focused on him. Whatever he does, he takes his steps. He takes his time. He knows when to do that thing. What I need to do is to make sure he has the tool, he has the environment to do what he's supposed to do. And that's all I need. And for myself, I'm going to do the same thing. Every time I'm thinking about, the funny thing is that the other mom speaks French a little bit. And I feel like, oh my goodness, he's so talented and he knows how to play guitar. Her voice is so beautiful. And when I look at myself, I have no talents. I am I'm tone deaf. I don't know how to sing a song. When I sing a song, I think I can't see my husband cringe like this. I don't play any instrument. And I think the only talent I have is I speak English really well, and I have the platforms for me to kind of show my talents there. And that's the only thing I can think of. But when it comes to raising a kid, I feel like there's nothing I can really show him that I'm able to do. So that don't worry if you're in the same situation, don't worry too much about it. If you want, you can learn. So I feel like learning language is my strength. I don't want to learn it. And I also want to learn French. Now here's my opportunity. Here's my chance. I'm gonna start to pick up a new language. I'm very happy about it. And I have ukulele, I have a piano. I tried for a while, especially during COVID, and now I gave up. And then I think about he's giving me a chance to start to learn new things. And I can learn it. I enjoy it. I can show him that I'm able to learn things. I think that's a great thing I can do for my kids is to show him that I'm constantly learning new things and I'm not scared. If I don't know, that's okay. I'm learning new things at this age. People might laugh at me and say, "Oh, you're so old, you're learning this." So what? Once I acquire that, it is mine. You can't take it away. No matter how old I am, I'm 80. I can still learn new things. I can learn ballet at 80. So what? Right? So you have to tell yourself everybody has a different timeline. You just can't take other people's timeline to yourself. It doesn't really apply to your lifestyle. It doesn't really apply to your personality. You're not going to force yourself in that. It's like Cinderella's step sisters. You're trying to fit your feet to those crystal shoes. You can't. You're just gonna have to find your own shoes and find your own rhythm, find your own pace, and find your own timeline and stick to it. It's gonna take a lot of effort, it takes a lot of gut, take a lot of courage to do it. But if you trust yourself, you can do it. And you're gonna do it. And you're gonna make it. That's what I want to talk about timeline. And that's what I want to talk about taking your time, taking your own pace. And that's what I learned from my little one. I really appreciate that. And hopefully in the future, I can learn more from him and I'll share more with you guys. Hope you like this video. Don't forget to give us thumbs up and subscribe and share your thoughts with me down below. See you in the next episode. Bye.